many others out there have been wondering, how did this guy start to get to where he is?
It started like a dream.
Transitioning from healthcare
Yes.
into entrepreneur.
Cool.
What are some of the struggles you faced from when you started to where you are today?
The fear of starting something new. I was just wondering whether am I making a mistake. The challenge of working as a nurse at the same time and juggling you being a fashion designer, of course, together.
So that's how the Swanky Saturday was born.
That's how I was born.
Hey guys, I'm excited today because I'm about to interview one of the dappest gentlemen in the entire DMV. This is an electrifying gentleman. He is the author and the creator of the STANLION fashion. This guy has proven that you can take your talents from the grass and take them all the way to the top. Get ready as we sit down and interview with the one and only king of Swanky, STANLION. See you on the Everyday University. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. How did you become successful?
I quit my 9 to 5 and I started my own fashion brand.
Are you STANLION?
Yes, sir.
I run a show called Everyday University. Do you mind giving us a few minutes of your time to talk with you?
Don't mind. I have a few minutes I can spare.
Thank you very much, sir.
No problem.
Lion.
What's going on?
Come on, brother.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you always.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank
Sir.
you. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about yourself?
Well, I'm living the dream.
Yes, sir.
Living the dream. It's always an honor to be in your presence, especially the things you do for the community and how you carry yourself, how you carry your business with you. It's a spark to many people, and I believe not only myself, many others out there have been wondering,
Yes.
how did this guy start to get to where he is? So I'm very, very honored to have to have been accepted to come do this interview with you.
Oh, the pleasure is mine, bro.
So let's kick it right away.
Yes, let's get
I know. Can you take us back? Like, when was the time that you decided to do STANLION clothing? How did that come about?
It started like a dream, right? I can remember vividly. I was in Chicago for a graduation with a friend. I was listening to some inspirational speakers, and the question that he asked was, "What is the one thing that you do every single day that when you wake up in the morning, you jump out of your bed with happiness to do it?" Because at the time, I was already about 10 years into nursing and I was getting exhausted. So my background, I have a bachelor's degree in nursing, and I worked in acute care for 14 years before I retired. So this was about 10 years in. I was already started feeling exhausted with the times that I was working night shift and stuff. And so when this spark came, and I asked myself, what really is it that I can really do and wake up every day? And for me, I've always loved fashion. It was something that I grew up into with my friends and, around the neighborhood. We used to, exchange clothes. Yeah. I started designing my uniform at a very early age.
Okay.
Yes, and I'll get in trouble in Cass family. I remember having Mandarin collar jacket, suit pockets, a zip on my jacket, and I'll get into trouble for that. But it was kind of the start. But you know how it is in Cameroon or in Africa, parents do not really nurture that, and it was all about going to school, being a medical doctor or a lawyer or this and that. But when that spark came, I figured I would give it a shot, and that's where the dream started. Wow! And I started that in the basement, and the rest is history.
How old is STANLION?
STANLION Clothing is about 10 years old. The idea was conceived in 2015, and in 2016, we had our first products in my basement.
Okay.
And we were there in the basement for about 3 years before we surfaced out to try to get a showroom.
Wow. Now, transitioning from healthcare into entrepreneur.
Correct.
I know that being in the world of an entrepreneur, there are so many difficulties, struggles, and that different businesses, different fields they encounter. What are some of the struggles you faced from when you started to where you are today?
Bro, it was quite a good amount of struggles. The first challenge, first of all, was the fear of starting something new, right? And I was just wondering whether am I making a mistake that I'm leaving nursing, something that I was very certain that I can make a living off from, but at this point now, it was just not about making a living; it was about making, living a dream at that time. And so one of the things was just the fear of failure, right? And that's one of the things that holds people down so much. But I tell everybody, if you don't have that little anxiety or fear, and if you do not fail, it means you're not actually trying, right? And so I dared into it. But most of my struggles started with, first of all, in fashion with us. When we grew up, it was like we knew that fashion belonged to the Italians and the French people and things like that, right? And for people like us, it didn't seem like we were the people that were supposed to be designing the stuff that we're wearing. And so there was that stereotype. So the challenge was, first of all, finding the right manufacturers to do the things that I was looking to get done. I could conceive the ideas, but where could I really make them? And so I started by producing things in Cameroon. Ideas that I had conceived, I was sending them to local tailors in Cameroon. But the challenge with our systems there, which are not structured, is that I will make a product today, but the next product that I order for the same thing, it comes either the stitches are poor, the fabric is different, and things like that. So there was that lack of consistency with that part. And then, so I had to figure out some other ways in making my products. Then of course there's a financial aspect of it. Raising capital to be able to start was tough, but I was lucky that I had a nursing job that I was a hustler. I was working more than two sometimes.
No financing.
Jobs. Yes, I didn't need it. I didn't use any finance. And that's one of the things that I felt like I was blessed in starting the business, because the pressures a lot that some people develop as a startup is the fact that they go take money somewhere and then they're forced to now pay interest and things like that. And the business struggles, that's where your depression sets in. Or you have business partners that they're just coming as investors. And the whole thing for an investment is that they want to make money, right? And so when you start and you're not making money, then it becomes a problem with dealing with all these other people that you have to deal with. So lucky for me, I did not have that. And then of course, the challenge of working as a nurse at the same time and juggling you being a fashion designer, of course, together. This was something that took a lot of my time. I struggled balancing it, especially when we opened the showroom. But thank God I had, either relatives or to when my business partner that was able to multitask and do things, because I'll be in the showroom and then I have to leave. I used to work night shift, and then by 6, 7, I'm leaving to go to the hospital. I will leave clients, jump through the back room, get into my car, and then I head out. Wow. Sometimes I'll leave work in the morning, come to the showroom, sleep in the fitting room. Once the door opens, and I jump out. Wow! Every time I had a little bit of time, I took now. So those were some of the challenges that I faced. But every challenge comes with its own learning curve to it, right? Okay. And when I face any, and I think I really strive when I have struggles and challenges, because I'm the kind of person that does not give up. So I try to push to figure out ways to move things and work around to make things work. Yeah.
Wow, what a journey. So now I know that starting a business like this, it's not easy to start having customers, sales, everything is slow and things like that. And you might give up on one point. But now when you are faced with tough situations like that, what is your motivation?
Oh, bro, before I get to that, I'll tell you a story, right? So sales, to talk about sales, when I started, I actually designed shoes first, right? And then I remember designing the shoes, about 300 pairs of shoes, 6 different types, had it in my basement. At the time, and we hadn't had the showroom at the time, and I was just excited when I saw, the shoes came into life. I'm like,
let's go.
The brand is on. Let's go. We're gonna make some money. So I was thinking, man, after we sell these shoes, man, we about to make like 100-something thousand. Bro, after the first month, I sold 1 pair of those shoes, and I was like, okay,
wow.
Yeah.
One sale in a month.
One sale in a month. This is not going to cut it. This is not going to do it. And I realized that entrepreneurship was not for the weak. But remind me of the question, because I'm going to drift out of
Yes, what is your highest motivation when you face with tough times?
Woo. And the tough times came, so many of them. And I think tough times, when you're pushed to the wall, that is where your real spirit comes. That's where you try to reinvent yourself, or you try to find a way to, overcome that challenge. And for me, that's where I see my best abilities. I function under pressure well. And so one of our major challenges was, like we talked about, sales. When we opened the showroom here, and as you can see, this area of Laurel used to be just known for warehouses and stuff like that. It was not known as any place fashionable. And so when we opened here, traffic was slow and everything. And now the infamous Swanky Saturday, right?
Yeah.
And so at the time, I was like, okay, how do I get, because traffic was slow, we were still new, we didn't have a big presence on social media, we're still trying to build. And I'm like, okay, how do we get in front of our customers on a regular basis instead of waiting for them to come to us? And so, for me, clothes gives me a certain level of excitement when I wear clothes. I mean, you're a guy that loves
looking good.
When I wear them, it's just like I feel like a butterfly. I feel like I'm flying. I feel like I'm levitating a little bit. So I remember this one infamous day I was going to Delaware for a wedding with my wife, and I just dressed up here in the showroom, and I just felt like that. I was like, baby, just take the camera, hold this camera, just record me. I just walked to the back, started talking about the suit and everything, and I told her I'm just going to call this Swanky Saturday. And so when I did the recording, I loved it. And I posted it on social media, and it really galvanized some interest. And I was like, okay, this is something.
So that's how the Swanky Saturday was born.
That's how it was born.
Wow.
And so I said, now what I would do is that every Saturday I'm going to do a video, because I want to keep people's interest on the brand. Not only did I do that, I went on my phone, all my contacts were divided into about 6 WhatsApp accounts, a broadcast accounts, about 250 people each. So every day when I did that, I broadcasted it to everybody, and I said, please help me share. And so friends shared, the ones that could share, shared on their status. And so people were watching from different areas, and they started, and so the interest, and then the Swanky Saturday took its own life. And that's what really put a lot of, awareness now on the brand.
Wow.
And it's kind of, that's just one of those things that we used to, like we say, overcoming challenges. That's how we overcome the sales. And there's so many other different ones that we can,
Now that you're talking about Swanky Saturdays.
Yes.
The word swanky.
Yes.
How did that word come about, and now it's integrated with STANLION?
Yes.
How?
So swanky is actually an English word.
Okay.
Swanky is something luxurious, well-made, and expensive.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I always felt our suits are luxury piece. They show it. It's like most people attribute STANLION to expensive suits.
Absolutely.
Which is not a bad thing. The most important thing is associated with quality as well. Yeah. And so swanky was kind of fitting with the kind of suits that we were making in a custom collection. And so linking that to the Saturday that I was dropping, this is a Swanky Saturday. It kind of just worked. And then over time, I restructured the way we did it and add the move.
I was going to like, okay, where is the move coming from?
So the move was kind of like a celebration end of the look, right? Or of something that you are happy and excited about. And I initially saw this from Ray Lewis. He was an American football player with the Baltimore Ravens. I remember them winning the Super Bowl that year, and he clapped out.
Oh wow!
And then LeBron James does the same thing sometimes too. Okay. And then I felt, it was just befitting when I did, and then I just ended that with that look, and it took its own turn.
Wow!
Yes, sir.
Wow. All right. Now you've made mention of some big names.
Yes.
I want to ask, who is your motivator? Like, do you have a role model?
To be honest with you, LeBron James is the person that I think I identify with so much in terms of the way, his journey of struggle. I didn't come from affluence or anything. I came from a journey of struggle. Okay. My parents were, my dad was okay, but over time when I was growing up, he struggled a little bit, but we lived an okay life. He was able to send us to school and stuff like that. But my journey definitely started from struggle and building that through to where I am now. And then, of course, when I look at LeBron James, his story from Ohio, from Gators of Ohio, was raised by a single mom, but got through that and did not let that affect him. He became, for me, he's the GOAT in basketball. I know most people, it's Michael Jordan. That's my GOAT. But the way he has carried himself, not only that, the way he's been able to carry his family, the way he helps the world in terms of his charity and everything, and the way he's been able to raise his kids. Oh man, it's just one of those phenomenal people that, and then his resilience. If you look at his story from being in Cleveland, 7 years, no championships, went to Miami, lost to the Dallas Mavericks, but his mental toughness and ability to still understand that he could still make it, came back to Cleveland where they didn't even treat him well when he was leaving, and then went all that 3-1 and then came back. But so for me, he's just that guy that just digs deep from the back, from a place where, and then the way he shows love to the world and everything, man, he's just one of those guys that's one person that is on my bucket list that I know and meet and then want to address one of the.
Wow. I think I personally identify some qualities as you guys have together. You talked about charity.
Yeah.
And I know you do something for high school young guys during.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah. Growing up, I lived with a couple of my uncles.
Okay.
And so I always felt my dad wouldn't have been able to do it alone. And so the people that poured in me differently and friends that we lived and supported each other as we were growing up, I felt like were the little part that added to make me who I am today. And so I always see the importance and the need of being able to pour into other people's cups. So for me, there's so many other facets of charity that we've done with Selfless Saturday, with Back Home and schools, is that we're paying school fees for, which doesn't need to be talked about. And for me, I just it doesn't have to be mentioned. But what we've been doing here, because I cannot only do it to Back Home or so, but this is my community and I have to be an integral part of this community, which is blessing me so much. So what we've been able to identify is that there is a lack thereof in terms of awareness for these kids that are graduating from high school. And it's really a pivotal point in especially young men and women now to get into adulthood, choosing the right schools, choosing the right career, getting the right guidance. And it starts even from them graduating from prom. So we decided, okay, kids that are not privileged, probably do not have parents that are able to afford prom suits for them, which is really a big day for them to celebrate, their achievement through high school. We are able to, partner with counselors and community leaders and then provide suits for them. And then so we went a step further now to not only say, no, we don't only want them to look good, but we want them to be mentally sane. So now we're creating workshops. So our charity program is called More Than Suits.
Okay.
We just tells you we are not just suits, we are more than suits. And we're creating workshops now with this, which we'll do quarterly now. And then some of them I'll be going into the schools to just teach them basic etiquette, the importance of dressing up. How you present yourself is how people are going to welcome and address you.
Wow.
Your first 7 seconds when you meet somebody, it tells a lot about who you are. And I think for them to be successful in life, they have to understand these things, and then teaching them that, showing them basic etiquettes like tying their tie, choosing the right suits for the right presentations or for going for their interviews and stuff like that. And then also teaching them, about financial literacy and understanding that it's not just about, going to learn geography, this and that, but also learning a skill that you can do with your hands, because those you can never really take away.
Facts.
So I just feel like we have that void now, and I want to be able to feel it and continue to do that.
Wow. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do.
Pleasure.
Now, we are in the DMV.
Yes, sir.
So many different shops or stores are here in Maryland,
right,
in DC, in Virginia, selling suits
Yeah.
and beyond.
Of course.
What are the challenges that you are facing as STANLION Clothing in the DMV?
For me, the challenges that I had from starting up has really not changed, which is the highest thing with us is marketing. And for me, I don't see competition as a problem. Because I always ask myself, if they leave the whole of Maryland to you, can you dress everybody?
No way.
It's absolutely no. And then I always tell people all the times too, it's like when you walk into a mall, when you go in, you have Louis Vuitton, Gucci, these, Balenciaga, everybody's there. But the consumer has their own choice. They go in, they grab what it is from different stores where they are. Everybody, one person can do it alone. And so I'm comfortable on element and I'm comfortable with the kind of product that I'm putting out. And so, and my suits are too, not for everybody. They're all different tiers and different things that people are looking for. And so I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. I'm comfortable with the quality of service that I'm producing and the quality of products that we're putting out, that I'm certain that, I will always get my clientele. So the other suit stores is actually a motivation for me to not be stagnant. So I stay creative. So I got to keep on.
Oh, wow.
And that's one of the reasons why I stay reinventing myself. I'm not stagnant.
That's
so it really helps me build. Yeah.
That's a good one. Now, are you a good salesman?
I believe so.
Can you give me like a mini sales masterclass in like 20 seconds?
Well, I will tell you this, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to business, I would say I'm more of on the creative side than the sales side. I will tell you that's not my strong suit. If it's sales, there's a softness in me that makes it easy for me to fold under pressure. So I give discounts where people don't have enough money. I fold. But if you are telling me about selling you a suit, a product of what I have, of course, you know why you need this suit, Mr. Ndasi? This is a linen, 100% linen. This particular linen, you can only find it in Northern England. And this particular suit, when you wear it in summer, look at it. Wrinkle-free, travel, lightweight in the summer. I mean, you will not break a sweat because we know how hard it is out here. And sometimes when you're going to all these other suit stores, they do not understand this is lightweight, which means less than 220 grams weight. Makes it breathable, easy for you to move with. This is a suit that I'm not telling you that you should want. It's a suit that you need. And so let's see the deal.
Guys, masterclass, sales masterclass from the swanky master himself. Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that.
So selling is all about giving people value for what they're having rather than really actually trying to sell the product.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's super dope. So now, STANLION, if there's one advice you can give to someone out there, the younger generation, a newbie in the game, or someone aspiring to be like you because you're a role model to others out there, what would that advice be?
This is the number one thing that I always say, and I'll sit up for this. I think the number one killer of dreams is fear. Yes. People are afraid to fail, right? And it was something that almost held me back, right? When I was in the basement, in my mind, I was always like, okay, what if I come out and it doesn't work out? Things like that. I was wondering what people would think. And then, it's always this if but me. And then sometimes we do that and we self-sabotage. If you do not fail, it means you are not even trying. So fail, by all means fail, but fail forward. I feel that failure per se is the biggest teacher that we have. Because it is when you fail. First of all, failure means you're trying. And then it's when you actually fail on something that you get up and you reinvent, you reevaluate. Why am I failing in this particular thing? Then you look for answers and solutions to move forward. So I would tell all these young guys that are out there, if you have something that's burning in your heart, if you have a passion that you really feel this is where your heart is, by all means, give it a shot. Because the highest regret that you will have in this world will be not knowing how it would have been if you did. Because for me now, think about it. If I sat in the basement and decided to kill this business in the basement, I would have never known what it would have been like to come out and open a showroom And so when I asked myself, and the answer was, I would not forgive myself. I could not hold myself back. Try as much as possible to figure out to come out. Does it mean that it's always going to be successful? No. But it will mean that you gave it the shot that you needed to give. And I think that would be the biggest takeaway. If you have that mindset, because it's all in the mind, your success depends on what you visualize. And when you actually visualize, then go out there and execute it. Don't let fear limit you. And then I'll also tell people, motivation gives you the spark, but discipline and consistency gives you is the engine of everything. Discipline and consistency, and it's about really working on your habits, because some of the habits that I had to change was learning how to get up early in the morning, training myself now with being able to go to the gym, keeping my body and my mind sane in order for me to create a certain pattern to keep that consistency with business as well. Because one of the things that I struggled with was going to the gym and doing it consistently. And I said to myself, if I'm not able to go to the gym consistently and do these things, it means that I cannot also do this business consistently and keep going. Wow. Some of those things, you have to really change your habits. A businessman is a perpetual habitual person. You have to do some things repetitively, consistently, right? Because you cannot come and open this store today at 10 a.m., which is the normal opening time, and the next day you come and open it at midday. Yeah. When you come as a customer, you will not be happy. So I think those are some of the things that I would say to any young guy out here that is looking to start up. Be a dreamer that is daring. Do not let fear stop you. When you start it, you get that spark or the motivation. Know that that's not what is going to get you to where you're going to go. It's going to be your discipline, your consistency in whatever thing you're doing. They said the highest people that succeed in this world is not the people that are the most talented, are the most consistent people. Honestly, that's true. Because the most talented, if they are not consistent, they will fall in no time. Yes. But the person that is able to consistently do it over and over and over, the world will actually follow through with it.
Wow. You have great advice, my friend.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Wow. Last question. If you were to take yourself 20 years back, what advice would you give yourself?
Whew. If I was going to take myself 20 years back, right?
Yes.
I think I should have learned discipline and consistency earlier.
Okay.
I did not have that. And I would have done a lot more of networking with the people that I felt I identify with, that have the vision of where I want to go. And I think that's something that's lacking in our community. And I'm glad that we're doing podcasts like this to kind of share our experiences and our paths, our struggles, that people that are starting or struggling and do not know that even the people that have succeeded or they look like their success to them went through the same path, will make it more easier for them for their journey, right? So if I had to go back when I was younger, I would have just learned how to create a positive habit, of a good habit, to maintain and consistently do that. Because they tell you this, and there's another thing that I'll tell you is, good habits are things that you do not see the results immediately. The results of good habits always come later, right? If you're somebody that, for instance, you go to the gym all the time, you and I will know that the result of going to the gym doesn't come 2 days after you go to the gym.
That's right.
It's later on in life. Your health is good, your blood pressure is down, and the longevity of your benefits can be a lot more.
Oh.
Now, the bad habits, take for instance, you're drunk, you drink a lot. You can get out here right now and you get a DUI. So bad habits, you see the effects of bad habits very quick, but the good habits, long term. So learn the good habits, getting up early in the morning, going to exercise, right? Being on time. And time is something that I had to struggle with too. So learning and trying to improve, being on time on things, being better prepared on things. And that usually helps you, especially if you are You want to be somebody that's in a business that people would respect and trust. Those are definitely characteristics that you should build, and that will build wealth for you later on.
Wow. So, thank you for talking with the Everyday University.
The Everyday University. I love the name. Every day we're learning.
We learn every day.
Yes, sir.
And that's the only way we can grow. Thank you very much for your time.
No, the pleasure is absolutely mine. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I believe that the Everyday University is starting, and I believe that in the next few months it will explode.
I believe so too.
Yes, sir. That's my man.
The Everyday University. This is the very first start, so we look forward to many things from you.
No, I think it'll be a very successful platform.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Man. Thank you for having me, man.
Sure.
And you know what? You can't leave the den without doing the swanky move, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's go. I'm go.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Swanky.